What is up, you guys? That Nerd Isaac 2006 here, and in today's video, I'm bringing you guys part 1 of 5 videos leading up to Christmas, leading up to a big Christmas special, in fact, that being a big ol' Studio Series Devastator review. So how this is going to work out, we're going to split up these videos, again, into 5. We're going to look at 2 Constructicons per video, and in today's video we'll be starting out with Constructicon Mixmaster and Constructicon Scrapper. So let's get to it. So Mixmaster here is just an absolutely batshit insane figure, and that is partially due to the nature of the design. I mean, my boy is absolutely laced, absolutely caked, absolutely drowned in mechanical detailing, and he just looks so beautiful, and I feel like I'm gonna have an aneurysm every time I look at him. This guy is a hell of a lot more solid than that old 2009 figure, thankfully due to just recent engineering, and I think that even though I haven't owned that figure, I think that this guy is better by an absolutely large margin. Now, unfortunately, this figure is only a triple changer, when in the movie he's practically a quadruple changer because he turns into a robot, a cement truck, he turns into the head of Devastator, and the mode that they left out for this figure, probably due to just savor the quality of it, the turret mode, which is a really weird thing in the movie anyways, so I'm not too bothered by that, frankly. Also, when you think about it, this guy is technically just a conjoined twin. Getting into Mixmaster's articulation, for having such an odd design, this guy is absolutely jam-packed with articulation. So he does have a ball joint at the head. It can look up that far, down that far. You can get a whole bunch of wiggly-waggly side-to-side movement, and it can do a full 360, but pop off in the process if you're not careful with it. But yeah, it can do a full 360. Shoulders are on swivels here, and cheated butterfly joints, basically, so they can do some back and forth movement. He does have bicep swivels. He has some bend at the elbow, if you can even consider all of that an elbow. The cement drum pieces right here, the shields, they do move, and you can also probably pop those off, but I don't recommend that. Wrists are on hinges. The hips are also on some swivels, so he can kick up that far, back that far. He can do an absolutely marvelous spread. He does have some actually downward shift at basically like a drop down joint right there at the hip if you want to get him standing a little taller. I don't really recommend that because it looks absolutely goofy. He does have a thigh cut swivel right there, but that likes to pop off very easily. He does have 90-degree bend there at the knee, and he does have a very loose hinge at the foot and no side-to-side movement, unfortunately, so that makes him standing up, that makes standing him up quite the challenge. But this guy is surprisingly posable if you know what you're doing, and I think that's very cool. Get that angled down. Now, for the sake of conserving time and storage on my pretty lackluster phone, I'm not going to go into detail about all of the transformations on any of these figures, frankly. So while I do enjoy Mixmaster Cement Truck mode here, I do think that unfortunately it leaves a little bit to be desired. For example, I don't think the back cleans up well at all. I feel like all of this could have been tackled a little bit better. Maybe add some extra hinges or some extra panels to the hands, to the feet, make this all more cohesive and concise. I think that could have brought this figure a long way. And I don't know if you guys really picked up on this whenever I was transforming him, but this guy is not very fun to piece together into this mode at all. He's quite cumbersome, a lot of stuff doesn't really like lining up or tabbing in, and I think that holds this guy back a little bit, just a little bit. I do think that this mode is nice, and once you get it into this mode, it's quite satisfying, but I don't know, it's just not the most enjoyable process. Also, that Decepticon logo is that where it should be on the Bulldog, that is just not all there at all. Just like my sanity. So overall, I do really enjoy Mixmaster here. I think that this guy is a pretty solid figure, even with the issues that I decided to point out. I think that this guy accomplishes what he sets out to accomplish fairly well, all things considered. And yeah, I just think that this guy is solid. He feels solid once you get everything lined up. He rolls pretty well once you get everything lined up, which I kind of don't right now. And yeah, there's nothing like too big of a problem with this figure other than the back and the looseness, but that's also like, that just happened over the course of time. I didn't get him out of the box loose, thankfully. Yeah, I think that this guy is very nice. We'll save the combination head transformation for the end when I go to combine them all, but overall, I do like this figure, and I think he has a very solid place in my collection. Next up on our list tonight will be Constructicon Scrapper. Now, fair warning, you will see some of these guys with a little bit of dry brushing on them because back in 2020, I just decided that that would be a good idea. So, I did. See, now this guy is absolutely badass. He is the most structurally sound figure of the bunch, in my opinion. I think he feels the best. I think he kind of looks the best. He has my favorite design out of all of them, other than like Long Haul or Overload, but that's about it, frankly. This guy is quite the handsome boy, if you will. And just like Mixmaster, you can see that this guy is absolutely caked, absolutely laced, and absolutely drowning in detail, and probably pussy too. I absolutely love the asymmetric hands. I love that he has claw articulation. I wish that this was on a chain, but I get why it's not. It's a fucking toy. Whatever. I think that this guy is probably my favorite figure of the bunch, quite honestly. I just have the most fun with him. I'll tell you one thing though, that thigh gap is absolutely unnatural. And also guys, I'm sorry to do this, but that's gotta be intentional, right? So, getting into Scrapper's articulation, this guy is not very posable, unfortunately, but he does have a ball joint and a hinge at the neck. He can look up that far, he can look down that far, he can do some wiggly waggly motion, and he can do a full 360. Shoulders are on swivels. They can also do full 360s. Actually, no, they can't. They are hindered. I didn't even realize that. He does have a bicep swivel, a double joint at the elbow right there. He has a wrist hinge on that right there. He has a swivel right here. That can do some bending, and the claws can open for that arm. Hips can kick forward very, very far, and they can also kick backward very, very far. He can barely do a beautiful spread, and that is just so sad, but whatever. He can do a thigh swivel, or kind of upper knee swivel, whatever you want to consider that. He does have less than 90 at the knee there, unfortunately, and nothing at the ankles, but with the way
his platforms are, basically,
this guy does not have a lot of trouble standing in pretty much any pose that you decide to get him in, and I think he benefits quite a bit from that. Now this mode is definitely where it's at with this figure. This thing compacts solidly, it looks awesome. I love how all of this beautiful mechanical detailing just comes out even more and shows through more in this mode than the robot mode, in my opinion. I think that this thing is solid. It feels freaking dense. Oh my lord, he's kind of hefty. Once again, like Mixmaster, I could just do some bicep curls with this guy. Curl both these guys and get some absolutely banging triceps. I swear to God, this guy looks fabulous in this mode. Yes, dare I say, fabulous. I love the way he looks, and not to toot my own horn, but I think the dry brushing that I added to this guy really makes some of those extra details pop, especially in the bucket. So yeah, this guy looks wonderful in his excavator mode. Overall, I absolutely love Scrapper here. I do wish that the robot mode had a little bit more articulation, but due to the nature of the design, I'm not going to knock it for that, frankly. I think that this guy is absolutely wonderful. This mode is solid. He feels solid. He definitely feels the best. He's probably my favorite figure out of the bunch. I think that this guy is wonderful, and you just need him to complete the team, so what are you doing, man? Go out and get him. Do it. Now. That's gonna do it for tonight, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys here in just a few days for part 2. Stay tuned. This has been That Nerd Isaac 2006 with my cat in the background, rolling out. Peace.